A mother elephant is crossing the savanna with two friends. All three have poison arrows buried in their sides. They are bleeding in agony and hunted by people. Every instinct they have says avoid humans forever. They have every reason to never see a person again. Instead, they walk straight toward a human rescue camp. Not away from it, toward it. One of them somehow linked that place and your species with help. Photographed, written up by the very rescuers involved, not a legend. The same species that shot her. This really happened and it was documented. And it forces a strange question about you. You are measurably the most dangerous predator on this planet. So why would a dying wild animal ever choose to walk toward you? Not toward its own kind, toward you specifically. A dolphin, an elephant, a fox, a raven, none with a reason to trust you. And yet, when everything goes wrong, some of them come to us. The answer starts with a bird that hired us on purpose. The honeyguide loves beeswax, but it cannot break into a hive. Thousands of stinging bees guard it, and the bird has no way in. You, on the other hand, have fire and tools. But you are terrible at finding the hidden hives in the first place. So the bird solves both problems at once. It finds the hive, then flies to a human and calls, loud and clear. It leads you across the bush, straight to the hidden nest. You open the hive, you take the honey, you leave the wax for the bird. A clean deal, you get sweetness, the bird gets what it could never reach. For years, people called this a charming campfire story. Then, in a real experiment, scientists actually tested it. Hunters use one specific call, passed down for generations. When they played that exact call, the birds responded completely differently. That one sound doubled the chance the bird would guide them, and tripled the odds of actually finding a nest. The bird was not just reacting to noise, it knew what the signal meant. This human wants to work with me right now, and it is worth my time. It picked that one call out of a whole noisy world of sounds, and answered it with a plan, not a reflex. A fully wild animal, choosing to cooperate with us through real communication. Not a pet not trained with treats, wild and choosing it. Which raises an uncomfortable question about what is happening in its head. Does the animal truly understand that you can solve its problem? Or is something much simpler going on that only looks like understanding? Researchers lay out a few answers, and they are not equally impressive. Some need real thought, some need almost none. Both can look the same. The simplest answer is just learned association. Once a human helped it, so distress plus human now equals relief. No deep reasoning required, just a link burned in by experience. But the harder answer is that some animals grasp that you have your own mind. That is a much higher bar, and it is fiercely debated. The clearest proof comes from dogs, tested with tiny eye trackers. Point at something while looking a dog in the eye, and it follows your meaning. Not your finger, the thing you mean, just like a human baby learns to. Run that same skill in reverse. And a desperate wild animal walking up to you is not an accident. It is a calculated, intelligent gamble. Fleeing, hiding, or dying alone are the usual moves. This one is different. So look at the real cases, because they are almost unbelievable. A wild dolphin off Hawaii swam up to divers, moving in a strange, labored way. The instructor knew the rule, do not interfere with wild animals. But the dolphin kept circling back. Something was clearly wrong. It had a fish hook and line wound tight around its body. He carefully cut the hook and the line away. And the dolphin did not just bolt, it came back and faced him. Witnesses read it as something like thanks before it finally left. A wild animal that could have vanished, choosing one more moment with you. A raven sat on a green fence and screamed for over an hour. It had 4 porcupine quills stuck painfully in its face and wing. It let a total stranger pull each quill out, one by one. Every instinct it had said run, it held still and let you help. Think about the trust that takes, a wild bird letting hands near its eyes. An elephant's calf fell into a deep pit and could not climb out. The mother went to the road and begged passing humans for help. She refused to give up and finally led them back to her calf. They organized a rescue and pulled the calf back to solid ground. She did not fight the strangers, she led them. There is a difference. A whale tangled in fishing lines surfaced beside a small boat again and again, until a teenager reached out and pulled the debris from its face. A whale shark the size of a school bus floated perfectly still for 20 minutes, while a stranger cut a tight rope off its enormous body. No restraints, pure trust. And the strangest one of all, a fox with its head stuck in a glass jar. It walked right up to a group of men and simply stood there, waiting. One of them pulled the jar off. The fox trotted back into the green trees, pausing once to glance back before vanishing for good. It could have run at any second. It waited because waiting was smarter. And here is the part that should stop you. This is not one rare species doing one strange thing. The people who do this for a living see it across almost every species. Not just the clever ones, coyotes, wolves, bears, cougars. Animals that normally keep their distance, walking in when it gets bad enough. 4 wild deer, exhausted, were drowning in freezing water off Alaska. They spotted a boat and swam straight for it, and let unfamiliar humans haul them aboard against every instinct. When the choice is drowning alone, the fear of you suddenly loses. Fear is just a number the brain keeps. Desperation can outweigh it. That pattern repeats in nearly every case researchers collect. The fear animals feel toward you is not an unbreakable law. It is a default setting, carved by millions of years of good reasons. But a default can be overridden when doing nothing is certain death. There is a deeper layer too, running across whole generations. Some species may inherit a history with us, not just a memory. The honeyguide is the clearest proof of that over evolutionary time. An entire wild species built a signal for us because it kept paying off. Elephants, with their long memories, may do something quietly similar. A herd that was once helped can carry that lesson down through the family. Grandmother to mother to calf, an inherited note, that place is safe. This exact human in this exact place has meant relief, not harm. That is not blind trust in your whole species, it is a careful exception. A single narrow door of trust, cut into a wall of very justified fear. We should be honest about the limits of what we can claim. We cannot ask a dolphin what it was thinking in that moment. Maybe a desperate animal is just drawn to stillness and to a large, safe shape. Maybe it is simpler than the story we want to tell ourselves. But the honeyguide is not just a story, it was proven. And once you know one wild species truly understands us, the rest of the pattern stops sounding far-fetched. Birds, mammals, and sea creatures, separated by tens of millions of years, all somehow arriving at the same desperate choice. Evolution wrote them separately, and they still reached the same answer. When the pain is too much to bear alone, and every instinct screams to run and hide and endure it in silence, some of them make a choice that defies everything we taught them to feel. They walk against every lesson toward the deadliest predator alive. Not because the fear is gone, because the hope just barely weighs more. Toward you. Because sometimes the most dangerous thing on earth turns out to be exactly what they need most. And maybe that says something quiet about you too. That the same hands that could end them can also choose to help. If that gamble those animals take toward us stayed with you, stay here a while. Subscribe, and the next quiet question will find you when it is ready. And share this with someone who has ever stopped to help a hurt animal. They cannot know which kind of human they are walking toward. They gamble that this time you are the good kind. Often you are. They walked toward you, and enough of the time you were worth it.